It's Friday, January 8th, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me today. So much happening. I can't even put it into words with what I'm watching take place. It's just baffling to watch these markets. Dow Jones was down over 200 points earlier today, closed in the positive, up 56 points. The dollar soaring back at 90.07, up 0.27%. And you have to ask yourself, how in the world can the dollar be going up, gold and silver going down, when they're telling all of us that they're going to print trillions and trillions and trillions of more dollars on top of the massive trillions of dollars that they've already printed? It just really baffles the mind what we're watching. Almost today seemed like a hit job on gold and silver, but somebody out there is buying a lot of gold and a lot of silver, and I'm going to tell you, I'm one of those people. I'm not here to give anybody financial advice, not here telling you what to do, but I do share with you my thoughts and what I'm doing. Today, I went in, I bought the dip in mining stocks, and I bought a lot of mining stocks today. I will buy more physical silver and gold this week. Why wouldn't you be buying this stuff while it's on sale? At the end of the day, they can prop these markets up, they can manipulate, they can play all the magic tricks that they want, but they are going to run into a dead end here. At some point, when you're printing money like the United States of America is doing, you are going to obliterate the currency. And it is sad but true that the reality of it is, no matter what kind of magic tricks they're playing right now, the dollar is on borrowed time, and all of you should be betting against the debt and getting out of the system. When I watch these markets at all-time highs, when I watch the massive dollar printing, money printing, quantitative easing, helicopter money, name it, call it whatever you want, and I see what's happening in this economy, I see what's happening socially in America, and you're telling me with a straight face that the stock market is going up. It is going up because it is being propped up, but it is on borrowed time like the US dollar. The stock market is on borrowed time, and people are drunk on the euphoria, believing that it's going to go up forever, that maybe it'll have a little correction here and there, but that's okay. The Fed will come in and print more money, save the day. Everything is going to be okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you believe that to be true, you are going to be wiped out. No matter how bad things get, things just continue to go up in the stock market, and it's really going to lead a lot of people into a financial death sentence. Just take a look. I just noted a few things. Look at this public health crisis that we've been dealing with over the past year. Look at the U.S. economy. It has plunged into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. Americans have filed more unemployment claims than any other time in history. Over 70 million people have filed claims for unemployment benefits just in 2020. We're watching violence erupt from coast to coast, yet nothing has stopped this euphoria on Wall Street. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are being duped. They're being bamboozled into these markets. They're being duped with low interest rates into buying homes. And we're going to watch some massive crashes take place here in America. One being the stock market, another one being the housing market, another one being the commercial real estate market. Let's talk about the weekly jobless claims that we got yesterday. Well, the good news is these claims came in 19,000 less than expected. That's the good news. But here's the bad news. The number of jobless claims last week that we received yesterday, Thursday, came in at 787,000. That's how many people last week filed unemployment claims. And I believe the week before that, it was the same exact number, 787,000. So that's 1.5 million jobs that people are not going to in the last 2 weeks. It's 1.5 million people who just filed unemployment benefits in the last 14 days. Think about that. We are bleeding so many jobs in America. I don't even know who has a job left. The Hedge today, huge December payrolls miss. 140,000 jobs lost. Worst month since April. That's on the Hedge. More bad news. The Hedge today also, who's hiring and who's firing? 372,000 waiters and bartenders lost their jobs in the month of December. Think about that number. It's massive. And I think about what is happening in places like Las Vegas. A good friend of mine was just there. He just got back a couple days ago. He said he was at the Venetian. He said there were 10 people in the entire casino. 10 people in the entire casino. He said he went over to the Forum, walked around. He said it is 90% less people walking around the Forum than when he was there a year ago. We look at the job losses in leisure and hospitality for December, 498,000. 500,000 people lost their jobs or filed unemployment in the leisure and hospitality industry just in the month of December. This isn't for the year. This is just December. We look at unemployment claims for people working in amusement parks, gambling, recreation industries, 92,000 for the month of December. So if you're in leisure and hospitality, if you work at an amusement park like Disneyland right here, less than 2 hours from my house in Anaheim, California, 26, 28, 30,000 people unemployed. If you're in the recreation industry, if you're a waiter, a waitress, or a bartender, your jobs are being decimated, many of them never to return. CNBC, Bed Bath & Beyond is closing more than 40 stores this year. So, if things were recovering, if things were in a V-shaped recovery, if this economy was doing well, we would not see this happening. Macy's going to be closing 45 stores this year. New vehicle stock at dealerships is about 25% below normal. Car companies expected to post lowest sales in a decade as they focus on 2021 now. When I look at the average median income, $34,000 right here in America, when I look at 800,000 people a week for 10, 11 months now losing their jobs, filing unemployment. Think about that. We have over 800,000 people a week filing for unemployment in America, and this has been going on for about 11 months. Who in the world is even going to be able to buy a new car? Average new vehicle price is about $38,000. These numbers just do not jive. When you look at the median income, when you look at the massive unemployment, when you see how many people are filing unemployment benefits on a weekly basis, who in the world has $38,000 to buy a car? Yes, I know they can finance a car for 8 years, put the minimum down, interest rates are low, but this is going to sucker in a lot of people who are never going to be able to pay these cars off. If you work in the repo business, please comment down below. I've asked this question before. What are you seeing in the repo business? I would imagine that people that are repossessing cars now must be so busy. I don't even think they could keep up with business. It must be so busy. Estimated sales will be 15% lower in 2020 than they were in 2019 with auto sales. And as I said earlier on CNBC here today, Macy's is shuttering 45 more locations this year. They notified employees that they will be closing these stores by mid-year. So what are these people going to do for a job? Where do these people go? This is just another bellwether, another indicator that these unemployment numbers are going to continue to surge. And when you look at the amount of people who are jobless now, the amount of people who are only working part-time, the amount of people who are working low-wage jobs, I don't get how you can have a booming auto sector, a booming real estate market, a booming retail market. How can you even have an economy when everything is just based on consumption and debt, when nobody is actually leaving the house to go work, now dependent on a government check, dependent on the government to feed them. How in the world do stores stay open? How do resorts stay open? How does Las Vegas stay open? How do the car dealerships stay open when nobody has money to spend? Nobody's going to buy a car with a $600 stimulus check. Nobody is going to buy a car if they're getting $100 a week on unemployment. So we are going to see very, very big trouble coming to America. We're seeing it right now. This collapse has already begun. For anybody out there that is waiting for the collapse to happen, you're not looking out the window. It has already begun. How many people do you know who have already lost a job, who've had a car repossessed, who have lost all of their savings? They're down to nothing. They're 4 months behind on rent, 6 months behind on rent. They're in forbearance with their mortgage. How many of these people do you know? Maybe you have a job. Maybe you have a pension check coming in for the time being. Maybe everything is okay in your life right now, but look out the window. How many of your friends right now are in panic mode? I can tell you from what I'm hearing from people I know that some of their friends, the trouble that they've gotten themselves into with this market, gambling and losing. Everybody now is a day trader. A lot of these people in the market have absolutely no experience, have no idea what they're doing. It's a herd mentality. Everybody's jumping in. Everybody's on Robinhood. Everybody's making money because it's just going to go up every day. And so everybody is now jumping in with this herd mentality. And these people have no idea what to do when things correct. They have no idea how fast things can correct, how fast things can collapse. These people aren't going to get their money back. There are no exits. There are no second chances for these people. And so many young people getting in have never seen a real correction. They've never seen a collapse. They don't know the dangers out there. All they know is their friends are making money on Robinhood, so they're going to do the same thing. And many of these people are going to really learn a life lesson here, unfortunately. The U.S. has lost more than 110,000 restaurants, setting stage for commercial real estate collapse of epic proportions. This also on the hedge. Tens of thousands of restaurants are now sitting empty, and tens of thousands of others are not paying rent. And I can tell you, in my area, as I drive around, and I look at these restaurants, no dining in, no dining outside, takeout only. And I think to myself, how many of these restaurants have not made a rent payment in over 6 months? They are in very, very big trouble. But this is setting the stage, ladies and gentlemen, for a commercial real estate disaster, because many of these restaurants will close permanently. Many have already closed permanently. Vacant buildings. We see the massive amounts of retailers who have closed permanently, and we are seeing millions upon millions of square footage, just empty square footage here in America now. The coming commercial real estate crisis is going to make the subprime mortgage meltdown of 2008, 2009 look like a school picnic. And unfortunately, this is going to make the economic conditions much, much worse for so many people. And at some point, it's going to have a major effect on the stock market. Deutsche Bank pays $100 million to resolve Chinese bribery scandal. Now, Deutsche Bank has paid $20 billion in fines just over the past decade. This is, when I tell people, don't keep too much money in the bank, this is another example of why not to trust the banks. First off, as many of you have written in the comments down below, and as I've reported, the bank closures, we're seeing these signs temporarily closed. Some of them are just closed, locked up, no sign. They're just closed. ATMs shut off. This is becoming more and more common. And I think we should pay very close attention to it, because I think many of our banks are in trouble. And as we see more and more of them closing, you should be alerted and aware that you shouldn't be keeping all of your money in these banks. Deutsche Bank, again, pays $100 million to resolve Chinese bribery scandal. They're going to shell out this money to settle criminal charges that the bank bribed Chinese officials for business. And again, they've had to shell out $20 billion in fines just in the past decade. But that means that with all these crimes that they committed over the past decade, they paid $20 billion. They probably made $1 trillion. So this is just hush money. This is nothing. This is chump change for them. They're going to continue to keep committing crimes. I don't trust banks. I think these banks are a huge threat to America, a huge threat to you. I keep my money in a small local bank, and even though it's a small local bank, I keep the very minimum just to pay bills. Be very cautious where you are putting your money right now, ladies and gentlemen. The bank should be holding the least amount of your money, in my opinion. So I'm going to wrap it up right there. I just wanted to check in with everybody and just share with you my disgust with what I'm seeing. So we have a divided country. We're seeing things that we never have ever seen in our lifetime. We have an economy that is worse than the Great Depression at this point. We have people suffering, food lines, food shortages, people who are now dependent on a government check. The $600 stimulus check that they were sending out to people. Now the IRS is apologizing because they sent your check to the wrong address. So many people have not received their check because they sent your check to somebody else. So let me close with this. If you're dependent on the government, if you're putting your faith in the government to fix these problems that we have in America, especially the economic problems, if you think the government is going to fix these problems, you are 100% wrong. They can't even send you a check. They can't even send you your $600 stimulus check because they're sending it to somebody else. Think about that. Think about how long it even took for the government to even agree to send you some crumbs. Think about that. These people out there that are putting all of their faith in the government to fix their problems, to fix this economy, this is why you better be getting out of the system. This is why you better be very, very self-reliant. This is why you better be reliant on yourself. This is why you better be your own central bank. This is why you better take care of your own security. This is why you better have food preparations, water preparations, security preparations, because the government is not going to be able to fix the problems. They've created the problems. They can't even send you a check. They can't even handle that. This government is so disorganized, so out of control. It is going to self-destruct. It is going to melt down, no doubt about it. Just look at your own government, how disorganized it is, and how it just doesn't even care about you. I'm sorry to say that, but the government here now today in America doesn't care about you. That $600 they're sending you is just is a big F you. That's all it is. And we're all going to have to pay that money back anyways. So the government and the banks are completely destroying the whole system. And this is why you better be getting out of it. The people who stay in it, put their faith in the government-backed institutions, like the financial institutions, the banks, these people are going to be wiped out. I mean, look, you don't have to be Einstein here to connect the dots and see what's going on. You keep printing trillions and trillions of dollars. Now you want to pay off college tuition debt. Now we're talking about sending more stimulus. We look at all the money that has been pumped into the markets. It's the only reason they're up. The day of reckoning is coming, ladies and gentlemen, and all I can do for myself is prepare the best that I can, and the only way I see that is, of course, food and water preparation, security, gold, and silver, physical. Now, if you have a little bit of money to risk, mining stocks. I think some of these miners are going to go ballistic. When people figure out that their money is worthless, when they figure out that the system is broken, destroyed. When they see an economic collapse, they are going to be running to safety. And that safety is going to be gold. It's going to be silver. Prices will soar. Today is a great opportunity. If you don't have some gold or some silver, buy the dip. You know, why wouldn't you buy something on sale? Why? I just don't understand everybody buying into the bubble. The big money is going to be made on the other side here when everything collapses. How many people will come in and buy these stocks that will collapse at pennies on the dollar? Mining stocks, the good miners are going to go they're going to go ballistic. Gold will go ballistic. Silver will go ballistic. Even though they wrecked it today. But I guarantee you, Jamie Dimon is backing up the truck over at JP Morgan, and they are stacking the gold and silver in those vaults today that they just bought. They crush these prices, they crash these prices, and then they go in and buy it all up. While they're telling you to buy paper, they're going in and buying the physical gold, backing up the trucks to their vaults. Look, I'm just sharing with you how I see it, what I'm doing. Everybody's going to really have to decide for themselves the best way to prepare for what's coming. One thing I do know is if you don't prepare, if you do nothing, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose really bad here. And if you're 100% invested in these markets, I truly believe you will be wiped out. So make sure that you're holding on to something physical that you can get to, because the system, ladies and gentlemen, is on borrowed time, and it's going to crash extremely hard, and we are going to see millions of people destroyed. God bless every one of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to all of you very, very soon.